Hey, what's going on? Touch one. We're going. Hello, hello. Cool. Very cool. So, I basically just wanted to hop on here. Um, just released new music. So, basically, want to just talk about that process a little bit. Um, yeah, uh, this video may end up redundant because if people are jumping in the live, I guess I'm going to be kind of talking about stuff that I've already talked about in the live, possibly. But I guess some of this is almost part of it's for me too, because I think it's helpful to just have a kind of sounding board for me to talk about um, what it's like to release music, what my new music is like, what direction I'm moving in, some of the stuff that I'm working on, and basically the direction that I think it's going. So, um, there's definitely a lot of stuff going on right now, a lot of stuff in the mix, some exciting stuff coming up, which I'm pretty pumped about. I'm trying to get back on the grind with my bass playing for sure, but it's taken a little bit of a backseat because I have been so focused for the last couple minutes on the release, figurative minutes, but like months on releasing some music. So yesterday I put out a new track called Natural History, and I'm pretty excited about it. I think it's really cool. It's kind of like a little snippet of music. Um, it's only about a minute and 30 seconds, but it's kind of in a weird way, it's like an important song to me. I think it's got a really cool bass line groove, and the bass line basically carries the whole song in this one. So um, it starts with the bass line. I added some guitar on top. I was working with Peter Enriquez, who's a producer here in New York City, on this one, and he did a really amazing job. But basically, we were trying to find ways to make this music have kind of a cool layered effect. I think there's something sort of interesting to me and difficult about making a song that's only 1 minute interesting. So, and though the song actually is a little bit longer than a minute, but to make a song like that really kind of pop and retain interest is easy in a way because you're talking about a short song, right? So if you have a song that's only a few minutes or only even a minute, obviously when people listen to it, there's going to be a chance that they're just going to listen to the whole thing, which is good, of course, right? But you also want them to feel like they go on this journey, even though the song itself is only a minute or so long. So I think there's an interesting difficulty from the artist standpoint and also the producer standpoint when you're talking about a piece of music like this. So, excuse me. So basically, with this piece, Natural History, it's kind of a short song about going to the museum with a friend, a then friend, and the way it kind of works out is that it's kind of a nostalgic look through the museum and through the feeling of being at the museum through music, of course. So basically, the song, it's like I said, it's kind of a little snippet in time, but I was going for a really nostalgic vibe with the song, and I think moving forward, you know, in most of my music, nostalgia has always been and probably will always be an important piece of it because I think a lot of the music that I like is nostalgic in nature. Bands like Howdy. Um, I guess depending on what kind of music you listen to, a lot of things could be nostalgic for you, especially just because you're thinking about the way that you grew up or the music you listened to while you were a kid has elements of nostalgia. Or, for instance, like I went to see the Bob Dylan movie, and there were a lot of moments of nostalgia there just from driving around in my mom's car when I was a kid with her, and we had this red Jeep Wrangler, and uh, or was it a Wrangler? I think it was a Wrangler. I don't even remember, but I always remember that she used to put on a couple of records. Desire by Bob Dylan was a super important record to me when I was that age, and it was really cool. Um, because I think I learned a lot about how a song can tell a story, and the things that are important about that. So I was um, I was kind of inspired by that, I guess, when I move forward and making music under my own name more, trying to tell a story. And I think what can be interesting, like I said, is you're talking about a song that's only a minute long. You know, how do I tell a story in a minute, or how do I bring someone somewhere in only a minute's time? Um, and I think that in order to do that, you have to really move through elements in music and find a common theme, but also have some fluctuation. Hey, what's up? I'm just talking a little bit right now about some of the music I've been releasing. Just released a new track called Natural History. It's on my Spotify. And I was just talking about the way that music can be difficult because, you know, right now, this song that I just released is only about a minute and a half long. And I was talking about the way that I've been kind of obsessed recently with short songs and whether or not it's the artist has the ability to really take the listener somewhere in such a short amount of time, which I think is just an interesting thing to explore as a songwriter. Because I think for the most part, we don't think of songwriting as like that short. But a lot of these songs, there's songs that I love by these bands, um, and they are short sometimes, and they can really take you somewhere in a really quick amount of time. And so I think the ability to bring a listener somewhere really profound or nostalgic or whatever, what have you, in a very small amount of time, with a very like condensed product is, and I hate thinking about music as a product, but in a way it is, right? So it's just an interesting kind of art form. Um, Genre, I would say the genre of this song and this new EP that I'm putting out is kind of like indie folkish, adult contemporary. Um, you can check this song out on Spotify and let me know what you think it is because it's definitely a little bit avant-garde, like a little bit odd. And me with my bass playing background, this song is super bass driven. So you'll notice if you listen to the song that the bass line kind of hangs through the whole song, and then I'm bringing in and out elements of different musical textures throughout the whole thing, because I think what I'm finding more is that if I make short songs, of course I write longer songs too, but if I do make short songs, I find it interesting for them to have like one super tight thread that kind of runs through the entire song, and then just kind of bring in these textures on top of that sustained thread. And then, like I was saying, trying to kind of hold a storyline or make, even with a small amount of lyrics, find a way to make the song sound, have some sort of profound nature or have some sort of nature that can be interesting to someone, even in a really condensed short amount of time. Wow, that was a wordy section. I'm talking a lot, but it's I think it's good to analyze what you're putting out there. And when I put this song out, my first thought was like, okay, did I accomplish this thing? Did I accomplish the task or the idea of making a song that is kind of short here, and getting through to this. Oh, very cool, nice. What's your axe of choice? What kind of bass you rocking? I've been kind of heavy on the P bass and the J bass recently, but I used to play kind of more funky basses, six string and stuff like that. Recently, I've been back to the fours. But yeah, and it's also interesting going from the position of being someone who's kind of more of a hired hand, and I've always been that. Oh, all right, let's go. Love a Thunderbird. Very, very cool. Yeah, those things are sick, man. I think Epiphone is making a lot of cool stuff. I have one of those. It's kind of like I did like a review video on it, but it's not a Gibson. It's like an Epiphone. It's like the EBO. That little. No, it's kind of like a um, it has that SG shape, but it's a pretty cool little bass. Super funky, kind of like one track sound, but like in a very good way, where the sound is really cool and kind of specific to that bass, which I always love when basses have a super specific sound to them. Um, but yeah, so what did I play on this recording? On this recording, I think I played my Fender Jazz. I have a custom shop Fender Jazz that I really like that I played on this, I believe. But it may have also been the Squire. I have that white Squire that I just adore. I love that bass so much. It sounds really amazing on recording, which is so like you wouldn't expect it. But Squire makes just crazy. Actually, here's the white bass. I have it right here. I was like, wasn't even thinking. Here's the white Squire. Yeah, this is a cool bass. Like, it's the Affinity model, and I didn't really think anything of it. But man, I tried it out. I tried it in Guitar Center. I wasn't even really there to buy anything that day. I was just kind of fiddling around. I popped in, and this bass was used when I bought it. It was like 150 bucks, I think, and it just like wowed me. Honestly, I just like picked it up and I was like, it just feels amazing. And I initially bought it to be kind of a secondary bass, but actually because it has the P pickup and the J pickup, I end up using it so much on all types of gigs, which is really nice. Because it's always good to have kind of like a workhorse bass that you can go back to on different types of gigs. And this one is much more versatile sound than a lot of the other basses that I've played. But yeah, I guess, and then returning, New York City, of course, being here has always been an important place for me. And I'm from here. I'm not from the city, but I'm from upstate. But oh, you got the, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know they have it in red. I've seen it in red. It looks sick in red. I love the Affinity, dude. The Affinity P is fire. I'm sold on the Affinity P. And then here, since we're getting into that bass chat, I've got the I got the what is this? This is also the Squire Precision, but I just fell in love with this walnut finish. This is the 70s like remake or whatever. That's pretty cool too. I put flats on it and it actually that kind of sounds banging. It's really got a nice sound. So that's also another thing where it's like I wanted a specific sound from that one. That one doesn't have the D pickup, just has the P pickup. So you get a little bit more of a direct attack, and you get that kind of muted, muffled P sound. So a lot of times when I'm recording here in my home studio, I'll go for that one. Um, oh, also just got some nice soundproofing for this studio, so I'm actually really excited. I don't know, maybe if some of you have seen that I made a funny little short, but I live in like a two-bedroom here in New York City, and my roommate he's back there, and then I kind of have this wing, but this used to be his room. And then he moved out, and we kind of switched it up so that now I have this as my complete studio. So I have a bedroom and a studio now, and I'm not even paying that much more money, so it's kind of an amazing deal. And so I'm super excited. I'm going to vamp out this studio and kind of make it super dope. Got my piano here, and a bunch of my basses here. As you can see, I was able to pick them up right up, and then I have on the other side. If I looped you over the camera, you would see my monitor and my recording stuff. Um, but yeah, with a city like this, it's definitely a blessing to be able to have my own space here that I can work in and try to continue working on my channel here. YouTube has been good. It's been going good. I need to be more diligent about it. I know it's like super based on consistency, and you just got to be consistent. And I guess that's the more I'm finding out about life, the more that's just the truth about all things in life. Is just if you stick with them, they start to grow. And this has grown slowly, even with a minor amount of work that I put in. If I put it was a lot of work in, I'm sure it would be cranking. So, but yeah, today just with wanting to talk about that release because it just came out, and the rest of the EP is going to come out progressively over the next month and a half. So that's kind of exciting. And I'm trying to sort of plan how I do content and be a little better about that moving forward, so that I can leave my day job one day. um, but yeah, that's pretty exciting. Um, Going on tour in May, pretty pumped about that. I don't know if anybody here, I know there's only a couple of you, but if you know the band Pet Symmetry, going on tour, playing bass for one of the openers on that tour, which should be really really cool. And hopefully, in some respect, maybe another opportunity for me to also promote my own music. It's definitely tough though. It's been interesting just seeing like I haven't released music in probably 2.5 or 3 years, so it's been a process for sure. Getting back into the habit of like thinking about a release and feeling that pressure of like, will people listen to my shit? Will they care? Will they like it? Does it matter if they do? Should I should I even put this out there? Does it? But I think it is important, if you have songs or if you have things you're creating, and I'm always writing, to make sure you do get some stuff out there because you never know who it's gonna find, and you never know what's gonna be important to someone. Yeah, yeah. So I was very lucky to tour. That's true. I toured with Victor Wooten. So very, very cool opportunity, cool experience. That was in, gosh, it's crazy. I think that was before COVID. So that was like April 2019. I toured for 2.5 weeks around the US with Victor Wooten. So yeah, Victor's won 5 Grammys, and he's like a jazz funk legend. And of course he's like an amazing bass player. So it was like a dream tour for me. And it was just crazy to have, someone who I'd idolized for my entire life growing up, take an interest in my music. That was cool. That was interesting just because he runs this amazing music camp down in Nashville. It's kind of like a retreat, and I went down to that to learn initially and like be part of the community there, and you know, try to learn from him. And then I ended up getting the opportunity to play a couple of my songs, and so it was really cool to me that he vibed with my songs or like thought they were cool. And then like, 2 years later, that was initially in like 2017 or 2018. 2 years later, I ran into him at NAM, and he was like, "Oh, hey, Connor, I remember you. Hey, I remember you still making those crazy bass songs. Are you still playing a lot of bass? Like, I love those songs that you did at the camp." And and we just got back in touch and connected, and then like he hit me up and he was like, "Hey, I wanna go on tour. I want to bring you on tour." So pretty amazing full circle thing. I think sometimes I'm sad because I was young, and sometimes I feel like maybe I didn't cherish the moment enough in those 2 weeks, but um, because sometimes I'll think back and I'll be like, wow, man, some people never. Yeah, it was cool. It was very cool to tour with a big name in the bass industry. It's one of those things also that like when you start getting things like that, you just have them. Um, so I'll always be able to be like, yeah, toured with Victor Wooten, toured with Steve Bailey was on the tour. It was kind of like a big bass player tour. Dorico Watson, amazing, amazing drummer. And I met a lot of good people and made some awesome connects through that. And that's also been good for my music career. There's also ways that it's been difficult too, just because I think sometimes, people see something like that and you're on like a big high, you're like rolling high, you're killing it. It seems like it's like, oh, whatever. I knew this dude in high school and he's on tour with Victor Wooten now and stuff like that. And that's definitely true and it's really cool. But at the same time, the tour ends 2.5 weeks. It's not really like it's that long or anything. And then, the next day you wake up and you're just kind of like at your house again. And I think that can be really tough. It definitely gave me a window into seeing how musicians and people in the entertainment industry can get really like depressed and sad sometimes, and how they live these lives of like extreme highs. And then sometimes when you come off of those types of things, it can be really difficult um, to just kind of recalibrate and get back into some semblance of normal life. That's definitely been an interesting piece of it, or I find that to be an interesting piece of it that I went through and experienced. And it's not like I was depressed or anything like that or sad, but you kind of have this feeling. You start to have this feeling of like, will anything amazing like that ever happen again? Like, would something like that? And I guess it could if you keep going, but at the same time, like something really unbelievable happens to you when you're like 26 years old, and you kind of are like at this mountain peak, and then suddenly you just get home 2.5 weeks later, and it's like, what's next? I went on tour with Victor Wooten, and it's like kind of hard to top it in a way. So a lot of the things that you do on a day to day get a little bit can get a little bit just uh, I don't know what the right word would be. I guess it would just be like blanketed or don't feel as important. But yeah, still such an amazing experience. So I'm really lucky to have had that, and I'm grateful all the time for it. So it's really cool. Getting back to the song, since people are leaving the room, uh, my good friend. Oh, I'm gonna stop biting my nails. So gross. Not on the live. Don't bite your nails on the live, dude. Don't do it on the live. My good friend Zach, Zach Burns played drums. He's an absolute beast. If you're here in New York, you should hit him up to play on your record or in your band or whatever you do. He's an unbelievable drummer, major homie, like just an undeniable hang. And Peter Enriquez at Short Stack, New York, did all the recording, which was a really fun and cool process. We went in, and I think we did like all the drums and bass and a lot of like we laid a lot of stuff down in one track, or no, sorry, in just one session. And then Abby Sharf came in and did the vocals, overdubs. And so two of the songs have female vocal on them. A couple of the songs are just me and harmonies by me, but a couple of the songs are harmonies, Abby's harmonies, and she sounds really beautiful. I'm excited for those ones to come out. Um, and yeah, all in all, just a really fun process. Short Stack is like right down the street from me, so it's like super easy to get there, and it's just like a super chill place. But it's crazy the feeling for sure of being like you're in, you put this thing out that you worked on for like a couple of years because of course the mixing takes time, the mastering takes time, the playing takes time, the writing takes time, all that stuff. And then you're kind of like, all right, I hope these like 100 people like jam to it, dude. And it does feel like part of it feels almost goofy. Um, but I'm still proud of it, and I think it's important consistently to do things that you feel proud of because they just add up. And then you can just at the end of the day be like, you know what? It's a big accomplishment to make and release art at all times, no matter what it is. And it's been a while for me, and I think it's good to refamiliarize with that feeling, especially at different stages of your life. So I'm trying to do that, and I think it's just a nice piece as I keep also working on my bass playing, becoming a better bass player at all times, and a better musician. Getting better at guitar as well. So it's a good challenge for me to try to write things and come up with things that are cool, interesting to people, beautiful, um, and I'm excited to be releasing under my own name also again, um, and hopefully be doing some band stuff as well in the future. But right now, just a little bit focused on these Dylan DiBiase releases because, in truth, no matter what band I'm in or what band I start or however I make music in the future, I am and will always will be Dylan DiBiase, and so it's I think good to have some things or some pieces of content and art out under your name, and that's one thing that I actually really like about YouTube. Is it can be like a kind of a cool sounding board for stuff like that, and it'll always be under my name. It's been growing. I'm proud of the way it's grown. I'm proud of what it's becoming. And yeah, I think it's nice because you also have a vehicle for your music on YouTube too. Because sometimes these services like I mean services, but social media platforms, TikTok, Instagram, stuff like that. I know they're important, but I do find that I think YouTube, as far as I can see, seems to be one with a little bit maybe more TikTok as well, but just like a community behind it. Or I see a lot of people who are bigger on YouTube. Seems like they have strong communities, people who are really spending time with them, and that's why I want to do these lives because I want to connect with people more, especially people who maybe fans of stuff I've done or think it's cool or want to get to know me more as a person, um, and I want to get to know more people, obviously, because I think it's important to reach out. And I'm trying to use the internet more, especially as I get older and less inclined to, because I think it's a good thing. And I once saw, I remember I don't remember what the video was or who was talking, but it was kind of like not using the internet is like having a robot army of millions of people that you just like don't use, you know. So if I think about it that way, I'm just like, yeah, I should be using my robot army to try to promote my music more. um, so here I am doing just that. And yeah, like I was saying, just got the new studio, got some paneling coming in. I'm excited about that. It's gonna be nice. It's like a Mount Fuji panel, so should be kind of cool. We'll see. Excuse me. LaCroixing, getting my LaCroix on. And for a while, I was doing these lives, and I'm gonna start doing them again. I was doing my practice routine on live, but man, my work just got so crazy for a while there that I really fell off with like everything except being able to kind of keep up with the releases, and try to get ready for them. So now that they're coming out, now that the music's coming out, I'm feeling good about kind of getting back to trying to be more proactive about my YouTube channel and proactive about the stuff I'm doing. So that's exciting. Um, you know, that's the main gist. I mainly wanted to come on here and talk a little bit about the release and natural history. It's available on all streaming platforms. Um, it's a short snippet of a song. I hope that you'll go check it out if you see this video. I think I think it's a beautiful little piece of work, and I'm looking forward to putting the rest out because it's definitely it's an exciting time, and I'm trying to kind of get back on the horse of music since it's been I don't know. I feel like I did fall off a little bit this past year, but I'm feeling pretty excited and ready to go with that phase of my life again. I think I kind of have my ducks in a row, maybe sorted out some of the stuff I need to sort out, uh, and I'm feeling pretty positive about moving forward with it, just because it can be a little bit of a bumpy ride for sure, especially when you're releasing and you're just like not sure if it's going to be well received or whatnot. Like I was saying before, what's best: Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Where do you promote? How do you promote? Do you pay Facebook? Like, do you pay ads? Stuff like that. So trying to explore all avenues and see what works the best. This is one of the avenues. I think in the past, YouTube has just felt like a good platform for me. Feels like it makes sense, personality driven, kind of has, I think, appeals to like an extroverted type and an introverted type, and I think I'm kind of a mix of those two. So I think that this can be just a good platform for me to move forward on and try to do some promotion for all the things that I'm doing, because I think it's a nice all around platform as well. Definitely want to be a little more direct about the type of content I'm making here for sure, but at the same time, I do a lot of different types of stuff. So I don't know, if I'm doing a lot of different types of stuff, I think you're just gonna end up getting a lot of different types of stuff on here. It's just kind of the way it goes. But this will definitely be one of my primary focuses moving forward. This, as well as just releasing way more music. I was looking at something that said you should be trying to release a song every like 6 weeks, which seems kind of crazy, but I guess if you make a batch of songs and then you can kind of just like sludge release them in like, one song every 6 weeks or 8 weeks, I think that is really important for general like growth on these, platforms like Spotify that are kind of just monthly listener driven things. Um, and it's interesting too. I see people with these TikTok methods and they're just kind of like reposting the same song like a million times with different little videos to it. And I guess that drives engagement, which makes some sense since, I put up a TikTok and it immediately gets like 200 plus views. And some of these videos, take so long to get to that. So it does make sense to me in a way why people would be doing that. And I probably will be doing that. But in some ways, it does feel weird to be like a grown man making like TikToks. But I guess that is the way that it goes now. And, I don't think there's any shame in that. I think it's cool. And you got to move with the times. That's the reality. You got to move with the times. And if that's what music marketing is these days, then I should be doing some of that because I want to market my music. Um, and I want to, try to change my life more. So that feels good to know that and to be in the field of doing it, in the on the train, on the plane toward better things, toward more. Um, you know, Trying to get this channel monetized, which is a big goal of mine this year, and I will accomplish it. I'm really excited about that, and I'm excited to get that first check from Google, man. It's gonna be a bad day for the haters, that's for sure. So yeah, uh, feeling good about things moving forward. I told myself I was gonna go 30 minutes tonight, so I got 2 more minutes, and I don't want to slack. I don't want to cheat myself, and that's another big thing that I'm working on this year, and that has to do with everything: music, work, exercise. I really don't want to sell myself short on anything. So the things that I'm committing to, and I guess now I'll have this video record of me saying this and committing to it. Um, but I want to be very diligent with myself about like, hey man, you told yourself you were gonna do this. You got to follow through. And there's really no room anymore to not, because you start to get to the point in your life where like, I'm still young, but at the same time, like my future is very much it's in the it's in the near future, my adult future. And so I want to make sure that I'm setting myself up for the type of life that's going to be really good and fun. Um, and going to be filled with, making beautiful art and being around good people. Um, and because you only live once, and I want to make sure that I pursue my creativity, pursue the things that make me happy. And music is a big one of those. And I think I really learned that after doing a lot less of it last year, and pulling back a little bit, which was good in a way. But I think, especially now with having all these releases kind of prepped, I'm ready to kind of just rock and roll and jump back into 2025 with a head of steam and releasing a bunch of music. So that's pretty exciting. I think I am kind of slated to have things set up to release almost the whole year through. So that was kind of the plan, and it's begun. So look out for the next one. The next release is going to be a song called Light in Me, and that's going to be releasing on February 28th, last day of February. I'm excited for that song. I think it's really cool. I think it's probably the best song on the EP. Probably the strongest song on the EP. So definitely look out for that, coming out February 28th. And I'm going to come on here more and just talk or play or what have you. but I'm definitely going to be making more content and doing more YouTube. So I hope you'll sub the channel, and I hope you'll stick around for the next one.